couple months ago, I got an idea. What happens when you take somebody who is interested in TCG games, but never really got into them, and you throw them into the world of competitive card games? No training, no coaching, no guidance, just determination and an attempt to catch up in a world that left you behind. Trading card games were never a part of my childhood. My parents were against the idea of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, so I never had exposure to them growing up. Because one of them was a violent game where you summoned monsters to fight for you in an addicting game of cardboard crack, and the other was because it was essentially animal pit fighting. You can decide which one is which. But I was always jealous of the other kids playing and trading their cardboard crack, bragging about how they pulled a shiny Charizard, but it was at home. But they definitely had it, you just had to believe them. That is until I discovered video games and kind of forgot about card games altogether. Until a few years ago, when on a whim I bought a Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings pre-con deck and began to play at my local game store. I was terrible. I learned the basics of the game from channels like Tolarian Community College and Commander at Home, but eventually I got the general flow of the game and made some great memories and new communities of people along the way. Around this time, one of my longtime gaming buddies picked Magic the Gathering back up again because I was playing it, and the two of us would play webcam games of Commander and eventually Tabletop Simulator, also dragging our other friends into it as well. It was great. But Commander as a format just never fully satisfied an itch that was beginning to grow. An itch for something that was more competitive and balanced, which, let's be honest, is not standard, legacy, modern, or pauper. And then an announcement happened.
Hi everyone, I'm Charan, executive producer on Project Kit.
Me and my buddy played a lot of Legends of Runeterra. Rather, I should say, I played Legends of Runeterra, he played Kick My Ass Mercilessly Simulator for a few hours. But when the PvP development for the game was dropped, we also kind of dropped the game as well. I mean, the roguelike mode is fun and great and everything, but it was just never really my thing. So a physical collectible card game from many of the same people that developed Legends of Runeterra, promising to be a mix of casual and free-for-all Commander formats and competitive 1v1, while fixing a lot of my issues and gripes with the Commander format. Yeah, I was in. There was just one problem. So were a lot of other people. Riftbound's announcement sent shockwaves far and wide through the TCG community and beyond, and supply was not able to keep up with demand. I was fortunate enough to be not working the day of the release, so I was able to get there early, get my product, and share the opening with Stream, which if you want to check out the stream, it's twitch.tv/FlyingWalrusMan. Shameless plug. We pulled some shiny cards, and the deck I ended up building was one with the objectively prettiest art, Leona. 3 months later, and suffering through the entirety of the Annie-Kaisa metas, which, while playing Leona, was pretty much nigh unbeatable, Set 2 was announced. And I saw a new champion being announced that I didn't expect, and I was hyped. Around this time, the regional qualifier roadmap was also released, and it just so happened that one of the regional qualifiers was going to be held in the city of Vancouver, just an hour and a half from where I lived. So a new goal began to form in my mind. What if I was able to go to one of these tournaments and run for a best of metal card and document my entire journey? And what if I could do it with this new legend coming to the game? Because Ornn was coming to Riftbound. Ornn is one of my favorite champions in League, and I was excited to build and test out a fresh new deck and a fresh new start with Ornn. I also had an idea. What if I could make a second channel for solely Riftbound content that I was making on stream? What if I could make a way for me to continue to monetize my expensive hobby for tax purposes? Make content for all of you lovely people watching this video on a second monitor right now as you go about your day. Thus, Deflect 2 was born, and I was ready to get to work. I looked up all of the Chinese metadata on Ornn, I figured out theory builds, I tested it online before the set launched, and I was ready to get off of the suffering of yellow-green color combo forever and commit to the new meta deck of Ornn. There's one problem. The deck sucked. Ornn was just not good in set 2. From the slow, fragile Tiana Lock builds to mid-range to finally aggro Ornn, Ornn just did not have enough sauce to be able to handle the menaces of Draven and Aurelia. But I was actually okay with this, because you see, there are meta legends, and then there are metal card legends. Let me explain. In a Riftbound Regional Qualifier event, there are two big prizes that you can win. Either you can win the whole tournament, or you can be the best placing deck of your chosen legend, or the best of. There's a lot of pride in being the best of a bad legend. That's why there are so many Garen and Jinxes at every event. Because while they might be bad decks, arguably the worst decks in the metas, if you manage to win a best of card of that legend, you can either keep it as part of card game history, or you can sell it for thousands of dollars, with the more desirable ones like Ahri or Jinx selling for 40k and 30k respectively. So there was a lot on the line for these best of races. Going into it, I knew I didn't have a great deck. Wins were going to be hard, but everybody else was going to be having a hard time snagging wins, so in my mind, even footing. I just had to get really good with my bad collection of cardboard. I practiced, I tweaked, I tried every build I could, but it was just not feeling good. I was unable to win most of my games, and I was quickly losing confidence just a month into my journey. I went to every summer skirmish in an attempt to get that all-important round 1 bye that I would need for my best of attempt at Vancouver, but I wasn't able to get more than 2 to 3 wins at any skirmish, placing out of the top cut every time. Which, again, I should probably pause the story to explain. In Riftbound, there are different levels of competition. Nexus Nights are your weekly casual fun gatherings meant to let you gather, practice, try out new builds, and introduce new people to the game and community. Summoner Skirmishes are the next step up. They are mini competitive tournaments for your local area with a top 8 cut, bigger pricing like unique playmats, and more store credit on the line. Also, if you win a Summoner Skirmish, you get a round 1 bye for the first day of competition at a regional qualifier. With low confidence and a win-a-box tournament coming up at my local game store, I knew I had to do something. So I picked up a new deck that a lot of people had left behind, Mid-Range Master Yi. If only for just the tournament, just to see if I could be able to do something with it, and in my attempt, and in my mind, attempt to prove something to myself, that I had made some progress as a player. I won. Now, awkwardly, I forgot to record any of the footage from the event because I was so focused the entire time. So, much like your childhood friends that definitely still have that Charizard in their garage, you're gonna have to believe me on this one. With the new confidence that I took from that Master Yi win, I took that deck to the next Summoner Skirmish in my area before the RQ. And it was actually the last Summoner Skirmish in my area before the regional qualifier, to try to win that all-important round 1 bye. Going into the skirmish, I felt pretty good. I was taking a good deck that I had a good result on, and I felt confident. Until a round 2 loss put me out of contention because there wasn't enough people to do a top 8 cut, and it was just whoever went undefeated on the day. No round 1 bye, another loss, another setback. But hey, at least we were getting spoilers for the next set and getting to look at all of the new shiny cards that were being added to the game right before the regional qualifier was set to happen. And this is when something unexpected happened. You know those fun icebreaker questions that people always ask to break the ice and spark a discussion? What is your favorite food? What anime character would beat Superman? Or who do you want to see added to the game? I was asked this question time and time again, and I always had the same response. Akali is my number 1 pick to come to the game because I've been an Akali main since the rework, and she's by far my most played and favorite champion in League of Legends. But of the unannounced characters, I wanted the weird ones, man. I wanted Fiddlesticks, I wanted Tahm Kench, I wanted Kindred, and I wanted Ivern. But I knew that none of these complicated, weird fringe characters would be coming to the game until like set 8 or beyond.
Let's look at Ivern's champion legend, Greenfather.
Now, I had a decision to make. One of my most requested champions was coming to the game just weeks before the Vancouver Regional. Do I jump ship from Ornn, pick up a new deck, theorycraft and try to learn it for the RQ, or stay the course on the deck that I have been playing for the last few months? Yeah, I was spoiled by the title of the video. Yeah, I chose Funny Tree Man. And as funny as this might sound, I actually chose Ivern specifically because he was now worse than Ornn. Ornn got a lot of new tools in set 3 and is actually one of the best Dark Horse rogue decks in the game. And players know this. Specifically, good players know this. So I decided to take my chances with a worse deck in hopes to get better matchup pulls than my opponents in the games that I did play on the day. Which, unfortunately, led me back to yellow-green color combo. Arguably one of the worst in the game. Now, admittedly, yellow-green is better in set 3 than it was in set 1 because you do get more tools now and more things to play with. It's still not good. It's still really, really not good. Now, I was actually fortunate enough that there is a writer who is local to our area and plays at our local game store. And he actually sent me an application that I could fill out to send to Riot to potentially get selected to come to the event as a content creator. Filled it out, not thinking anything of it, and then a few weeks later, this happened. So, yeah, I kind of had to go now. Even before set 3 dropped, I was again theory crafting and playing the deck online. I went through so many different iterations of this deck, from the more standard lists to things like 3 Nami, 3 Ultra Soft Poro, and 3 Azir to make a bunch of bird tokens and then move all of them over with the yellow Azir. I even made a full card draw version of this deck with Shadow's Call, Scuttle Crab, Lonely Poro, Stalking Wolf, and Darius to attempt to close out the game. Some days, the list worked, even granting me my first 3-0 at a Nexus night. Other days, I would go 1-2 or 0-3. But the important thing is that I was practicing and slowly improving. And I was spending anywhere between 9 to 12 hours a week at my local game store playing in person. Because I needed the practice. I eventually hit on a list that was, in my opinion, a breakthrough for me. Using Greenvern, or Green Ivern, filtering to hit Under Titan to get a free 2 mana to play out an extra 2 drop for that turn, building momentum and tempo to eventually push with a +2 might to all of my units from Under Titan to give it to either Daisy or Vi, using their stun to break through the other battlefield and get that point swing tempo play. The deck felt great, and I was taking wins on the nearly impossible Diana matchup, and the deck felt good to play. That is until a player caught that the deck didn't actually work the night before leaving for the Vancouver Regional. You see, Riftbound is still in its infancy, and much like an infant, it has a hard time speaking clearly and coherently, especially when it comes to the wording and how those words relate to the rules of the game. Under Titan says, when I'm revealed, look at your deck and add 2 mana. Green Ivern says, when you hold, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and choose a unit from among them to add to your hand. The two work in tandem so well. That is until you realize and understand the order of the beginning phases of the game. You see, Riot tried to be cute with how they sequence the beginning steps of the game with a ABCD acronym. Awaken. Turn all of your tapped things upright and ready to use for the turn. Begin. Do all of your at the start of your turn triggers like scoring points from holding and any holding effect triggers. C. Channel. Channel 2 runes for you to be able to use that turn. And D. Draw. Draw your card for the turn. Now, if we scroll through all of the rules here, in this chaos realm of a document, you will find this rule right here. Each player's rune pool empties at 2 times. At the end of each player's turn, and at the end of each player's draw phase. Why is that timing so important, you may ask? Because Greenvern triggers all the way up here. At the beginning phase. If you reveal an Under Titan, this gives you 2 energy in this step to add to your rune pool. Only for it to be emptied out here at the draw phase before you can use it. Leaving Under Titan mostly useless unless you hit it on the play effect of Greenvern and get a free 2 drop out that turn, or just use it for the +2 might later on in the game, but it's still awkward. I was devastated. I thought I had finally found a unique and cool take on the deck that actually worked, and I was gelling with it, only for that pipe dream to be ripped away the night before I had to leave. Yet another setback. Without Under Titan, my current deck list just didn't run. So I had a decision to make. keep the fringe deck tech and hope for the best, or play safe and standard. I decided to go with a much more standard list with a little bit of spice thrown in for the pre-RQ event and see how things felt. I tweaked, adjusted, did what I could, and then it was time. All right, morning of Vancouver. This is the effects of the night before, of all of the chaos. We've got deck box, extra rooms, cards in consideration are also in the deck box. I still haven't sleeved anything. That's not fully charged. Yay. We drove up the Friday morning of the pre-RQ. My original plan was to sleeve the deck at the Airbnb we rented for the weekend, but I found out that check-in time wasn't until 3 p.m. So instead, me and my partner went to an adorable little cafe right around the corner from the convention hall called the Bee's Knees. I grabbed a little table, made yet more small changes like adding 2 Blitzcranks to the main board, uploaded the deck list, and off we went. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect walking into the convention center, but seeing the Riftbound Arch in person was an experience. And it was a feeling of making it. This was the first time in my years of content creation over several different channels now that I've actually been invited out to something. So it was a little overwhelming to be here. Not just to actually follow through with my dream of competing in a big event like this, but to actually be invited by the company that made the game that I fell in love with to come and make content for that game. Seeing the best of Ivern Metal card in the case with the main trophy, the vendors, the people, friends, meeting other content creators, there was so much to soak in and process. But most of it would have to wait. As the pre-RQ tournament was about to begin, we got our matchups, and we were off to face Victor. Now, I didn't know what to expect from Victor. I hadn't practiced against the deck at all, but in theory crafting, it was one of the worst matchups I could pair into. Ivern is a Might Matters hold deck. Victor is a control deck that uses spells like the infamous Imperial Decree Bellows Breath combo to wipe your entire board regardless of how much might you may have. First game went well, established a board presence, and held units back to reconquer battlefields and close the game out relatively painlessly. Then game 2 and 3 happened, and I saw just what I was afraid of. I wasn't able to draw any of my counterspells that were in my main board, and was overwhelmed by sprites, recruits, kill spells, and board wipes, and I lost 1-2. Next game, we went against a newer player playing Pike. Now, Pike is a deck that I've actually had a lot of success into and was hoping to pair into, so I was feeling really confident. But despite the fact that he was new and needed some help with how things resolved, he hit a near perfect combo at the end of the game with Baron, Ride the Wind, and double Assault Breaker, and was able to close out game 1. However, games 2 and game 3 went much more how I was expecting. I was able to slowly out-tempo Pike, and I got clean wins in both of the games. I was feeling pretty good. That feeling quickly left me as I got blown out by a Hook LeBlanc that generated infinite value despite me pulling in Karthus about 5 times. And then, after that experience, I went into an Aurelia, who hit every single perfect line that they needed to beat me in games 1 and 2. Well, pre-RQ happened. Went 1 and 4. Only win was to a brand new Pike player. So, it was a day of getting matched up into Diana's, Hook LeBlanc, Victor, all the matchups I didn't want to see. Aurelia, the one matchup that I feel like I can beat, hit the perfect lines in both games, and just got blown out 0-2. So, feeling pretty low. We'll look at the deck tonight and see if there's anything that we can adjust and change, try to fix some things, and then go into it tomorrow. I was pretty dejected. I was worried about the main event, and I was disappointed in my performance. And here's where you get to the bad part of playing a bad deck. When you're playing a good deck, there is a lot to learn in your losses. What you might have taken, plays in which you could have done differently, or things that you didn't see in the moment that might have swung the game in your favor. When you're playing a bad deck, a lot of the times it's up to chance. Now yes, if you are an insanely good player, you can just skill gap everybody else and win off of being vastly better. I'm not that. I just started playing competitive card games a few months ago, so I had to rely on what I knew and what I drew. I decided to simplify the deck even further and just try to focus on outvaluing and outtempoing my opponents with my 2-drops and trying to reconquer battlefields with Daisy and Vi. No Blitz hooks, no Under Titans, no Azirs, just one Vile Maw, simple cards, simple Might Matters plays, and hope for the best. Finally, it was time for the main event. My original plan was to gain a win first round, hopefully go against somebody that had gotten a bye by winning a skirmish in not a very competitive area, get a win against them, and then hopefully squeak out 3 more wins somehow to put me in contention for a Best of Ivern card. Round 1. Nobody shows. Essentially a round 1 bye. Things are going great. Vibes are high in our group from the LGS because a lot of us got a free round 1 bye and we all had a good laugh about it. Round 2. Nobody shows. Another round bye. This is great. The only problem is that if it comes down to tiebreakers for the best of, I will have a terrible tiebreaker record because I've gone against 2 people that have a 0% win rate. But I got to met Nazir from Hungary, who in round 1 also didn't have a round 1 opponent, and we got to chat. I got to meet Ryan in round 2, who again didn't have an opponent, and chatting with them was great. Me and Ryan even jammed a casual game for fun, which I ended up losing, but I wasn't surprised. It was Annie. It's a tough deck to outvalue because of just how efficient that deck is. So, quick update. I was asked not to record any more matches, even though I haven't actually recorded any matches yet, technically, because weird legal gray area, you can only ask consent from the person in front of you, not from everybody around you. Totally get it, totally understand. So we're going to change up the video format a little bit, and it is going to be me sitting here telling you what happened after every round. And yeah, that's how we're going to roll with the rest of the video. So quick update. We are now 2-1. We got matched into Victor. Could have played game 2 a lot cleaner. Eventually I lost to kind of an unwinnable situation of either losing all of my units the round before or Imperial Bellows Breath losing all my units the next round. So, or next turn. So definitely it feels bad. Definitely doesn't feel great. But we're here. We're trying. That's the important thing. Hopefully we don't get into Victor. Well, we are back here. After game 4, another loss. This time against Annie. Just didn't draw any defies. I think it's a matchup I can win if I draw the defies when I need to. And my opponent misplays. Opponent misplayed. Didn't draw any of the defies. He saw 2 flashes each game. 2 falling stars. 1 hard bargain. Yeah, and I was able to play Annie and then just replay him, so it is what it is. We're sitting at 2-2. Haven't yet to be a human opponent yet, which is a little rough, but dropping down into the losers bracket now. Well, losers bracket, but 2-loss bracket. There's a possibility. We'll have to just win 4 games in a row, but it's still technically doable, so. Well, another game, another loss. This time it was a fringe deck that I was not expecting. It was mid-range Jax. I was feeling pretty comfortable into Jax matchups, but yeah, mid-range Jax it's a thing. Oh, it wasn't flashing it out. That's what he did. So Rengar played it to the battlefield, killed one side, played Brutalizer, equipped it, challenged the other side, and then played just Lucian and First Mate was able to run over the 2 might or 3 might Ramhound by moving the brutalizer to the other, or to Lucian. So, you know, from no units to conquering both battlefields and challenging, I don't know how I really play around that, I'm going to be honest. And then game 2 was kind of a wash. It was back and forth a little bit, but he kind of hit the perfect line, and it happens. So I'm really frustrated with my play. I feel like I could be playing better, but also I don't know what I could be doing differently, which is the really frustrating thing. So we're not dropping. We'll play it through till the end because we made it all the way out here. But it's not. We're out of day 2. Vibes are low. Now, it was around this time that I stopped vlogging. I was doing my best to keep my emotions in check, as not winning a single match was against an actual human being was weighing on me heavily. I was defeated. I tried to keep my head up high, and I played through the entire event, losing to the best of Jacks as well as a slew of my worst matchups. Closing out my run at Vancouver with 3 wins, 5 losses, somehow without winning a match against a human actual opponent. Oh. Well, that is a wrap on everything. Yeah, we ended 3-5. Did not take a game. All of our wins were from buys. Great experience, great people, but just some days the deck is not decking, and that was one of the days. It was frustrating looking back on things. Definitely towards the end, there was some times where I could have played cleaner, but there was a lot of times where it's just opponent drew better. I really didn't see very many defies despite having 3 of them main board. That was kind of my downfall, to be honest with you, of just not seeing the defies, not seeing what I needed. Yeah, it was a great experience. I'm glad it came out, and we'll do some more filming tomorrow of some stuff. End off the video on a lighter note, but I'm glad I came out here. I'm glad I was able to make this journey. I wish I was able to turn in a better performance, but it is what it is. I was pretty down that night. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna try to lie and say that things were great and I was super happy with my performance and everything. I genuinely thought about dropping the game that night, as I felt like I wasn't cut out for it. That I needed to just save myself the embarrassment and cut off ties there. That is until I put everything into perspective, and also, thankfully, my amazing partner helped me put things into perspective as well. I don't pick up games quickly. I've never been that friend in the group that was naturally talented at a competitive level or competitive games. I've always had to put in 2 times the amount of time into the game to reach the same competency as my peers. This was nowhere as apparent as it was here in Vancouver. Sure, I could have hired personal coaching. I could have signed on to different pro players' inner circles for practice sessions. I could have done so much more. But I did all of this myself. And for that, I'm kind of proud for what I was able to do. I'm a naturally shy, quiet person, so going to a large regional qualifier event, essentially as a solo content creator, was not something that I would have done a few years ago, or realistically even a few months ago. But I went, and I met some genuinely wonderful people during my time at Vancouver. Whether as other content creators like NacD, TMac, Leggy TFT, Seanverse, Majority SC, Lullaby Anto, Bamboo Jelly, Riftbuds, Nazir, Ryan, or any of the other competitors who were just so courteous and wonderful. To my amazing group of people from my LGS that all went as a large group to compete at the event and support each other, and who had my back when I had thoughts of quitting that night. to even getting to see one person from our group walk away fist raised to the sky in triumph as the best of Vi. As I was walking around the venue on Sunday, I got a ping on Discord. One of the guys from our local LGS is friends with Boulevard, who was the last standing Ivern in the tournament, and the only one of the 19 of us to make it to day 2. This friend was able to get his hands on the list. Lo and behold, there it was. A list using Ultrasoft Poro, Yellow Azir, and Under Titans. I never felt more validated in my life. And the lesson of, it's not often your gut speaks to you on a deck, but when it does, usually right, was burned into my head. Would I have better results if I stuck to my logic and gut instincts? Maybe. We'll never know. Playing such a simplified list has its upsides and its downsides. Unfortunately, on that day, I just hit the downsides. Regardless, I was proud that somebody was able to take the funny tree man to day 2 and prove all of the haters of the deck both correct and incorrect at the same time. Well, what's next? I mean, I will be trying my take on Boulevard's list soon, and if you want to see that, you can head over to twitch.tv/FlyingWalrusMan. Though these videos take forever to make, so I probably have already done that, and I'm possibly looking at Vendetta at this point in time. Who knows? I don't know when I'll finish this video. So I might already be cooking up some stuff for Akali, so you can come by and hang out and watch me do that. In the meantime, I'm going to take a break and probably play a deck that has purple in it. Think I've earned it. Baby Pike? Oh, we'll see. What I'm trying to say is, this is a start. I would love to go to more regional qualifiers in the future, but I'm going to keep it on the level with you. Going to these kind of tournaments is very expensive, so if you want to see more of these kind of videos, you're going to have to share this video with even your coworkers to make that happen. Through Riftbound, I have found a new level of appreciation for the games of this genre. TCGs allow for a level of player freedom that you just don't see anywhere else. Sure, in fighting games, you can get close to the same level of freedom and expression with your combo routes, your character choice, character costumes. In RPGs, you can express yourself through your outfits, your weapons and builds. And in games like Counter-Strike, you can express yourself through overpriced knife skins and glove skins, or what slurs your teammates are going to call you this time, and in what language. But TCGs have so much more player expression through what type of deck you play, your deck building theories, to even just the moment-to-moment decisions you make in a game, and how you see the game are just all extensions of the player. And it's genuinely fascinating. I definitely want to make more Riftbound content and video essay content as long as I feasibly can. It is such a genuine joy to be able to share these things with so many amazing people from all around the world. Which, kind of thinking about it, that's kind of what card games are. Card games get a bad rap, and sure, sometimes they attract an unsavory crowd. But at their heart, card games are a unifying joy that we're able to share with people from all over the world in so many different languages. Whether you are a competitor, a collector, or somebody that just thinks the art is cool. We all have this one singular thing that we can come together and be passionate about. And I've never been a part of a community that feels more like a giant family than Riftbound. And I'm so proud to be a part of it.
At the same time, or?
Yeah, same time. Oh, it's the set. Alrighty, you ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, 5, that's good. Charm's good.
Yes. That's cute.
That's cute. I love Pocket Cup.
Daring Boro.
Rares. Treasure Trove. Good card. Hey, great
Ooh,
stratagem. I was just
That's
using
pretty.
that. Promising future. Yellow Leona. Oh! Purple seal. That's actually really good.
A body rune.
That's super
Pretty.
cool.
Neat. Hell yeah.